Now let's dive into the topic, that's cloud computing, and let me explain what is cloud. Basically, cloud is nothing but replacing your physical infrastructure with some digitalization. We are in a world of rapid digitalization, right? Virtualization is in so much demand that we have to crave for cloud computing to just make up our productive resources into an extravagant resources so that our works goes into efficiency, reliability and scalability. So this is gonna be my first vlog to describe about cloud. And what is cloud? Cloud is nothing but you're making up the physical resources, not just in an extinction vision, just you're replacing the physical resources with some digitization tools. That's how the cloud exists. When it comes to computing, what actually is a compute? Compute is nothing but what are we gonna make a mathematical calculations, those are actually called as computation. From that term actually the word compute exists. Compute power compute power is much needed for our PCs to run the application smoothly and efficiently and also to deliver the IT services over the internet. The term computing makes the mathematical calculations, logical operations, and also deliver IT services over the internet in a cloud-based service form. What I'm trying to tell you here is we are replacing the physical infrastructure and with the digitization tools like virtual machines, VMs, storage. See, in a physical PC, you will always have the hard disk drive problems, like cooling issues, overheating issues. Those issues can be eliminated by using cloud computing because they give a lot of storage when it comes to storage facilities, and they give us databases and also networking. Networking is an important tool that has to be known because through the networking, through the what do you say, internet services, this actual cloud get exists, and then the services of IT infrastructure has to be delivered. This is all about cloud computing, and now these are some computing modern IT infrastructures. If I would like to say about virtual machines, VMs, we after that we have to go through containers. Then how VMs are different from containers. I'm going to give you that information in the next video about VMs in containers. And we have traditional IT services and the cloud services like IoT, Internet of Things, machine learning, and next we have artificial intelligence, one of the rapid and in demand resources that are going to be used by millions of people over the world. This is complete. So now let's dig into the topic of cloud computing. Just a minute ago we were discussing about cloud computing. I just told you, right, about the replacement of physical infrastructure with the virtualization and digitalization. Renting computing power and storage from giant global network of servers. We have a giant system like internet, IoT, Internet of Things. This internet is something that connects through the globe. You can be in USA, you can be in India, but still you can communicate each other in literally in a good kind of uh, performance, in good kind of scalability. You can really have visual effect to a HDR level because we were using modern tools like WhatsApp. We were having video conferencing with the people who are still in overseas. This all also can be done using cloud computing services. Renting computing power and storage from the giant global network of servers. what do you mean by servers? We have data centers, right? We have physical data centers for every organization. When it comes to an enterprise, when it comes to a startup, when it comes to a MNC, multinational companies, we do have physical data centers present in an organization. That kind of data centers, that kind of network of servers. In data centers, we have data servers which are going to be replicated in a giant global system over the internet. From that global giant network of services, we rent some of the resources for what we are going to use, and we pay for those resources. And that's how cloud computing actually came into existence, renting computing power and storage when we need, when we have a demand of resources. We are not going for physical resources, in fact we are actually going for digitalization. I already told you about virtual machines, we talked about VMs, we talked about containers, and how these actually existed from such kind of services. Those are called computing services, and we rent those services. For what we use, we generally pay, and that's how the cloud services came into the picture. Why this kind of services have on-demand resources? They are highly available because of the computing resources such as storage, servers, networking, and databases. When we talk about storage, we have cooling issues, we have heating up, heating up our PCs, heating up our CPUs. That's going to be replaced with the cloud services. And scalability, talking about scalability, generally I want to have a pivotal example for this. When a person, or when a group of bunch of people are going for a startup notion in their minds, and they have just started, and that's how the startup actually comes into the picture. They don't have capital expenditure to completely keep it in an IT infrastructure. They don't make the whole bunch of amount goes into the IT infrastructure. For such startups, scalability is a main priority, and it has an on-demand where they can use cloud resources. They don't need to go for a physical data center for such an enterprise, for an enterprise networking, or for a startup world. They don't need for a physical data center. They can use cloud services. They can rent. They can go for the subscriptions in Microsoft Azure, and they can perform the IT services which they have to deliver to their clients. When it comes to scalability, so when the demand has a high picture, then I can really create up my resources by deploying virtual machines in the cloud, connecting it to the OS, that is operating system, and then linking up to a host machine. That is going to be a picturization in the next coming up block. Third is cost efficiency. Pay for what you use. It's just like utilities. Utilities, just like water resource at our home. Why do we pay for water resource that we drink every day? Because we were using electricity. Number two, we pay for what we use, and we get charged for that kind of utility in our daily consumption, right? Just like consumption based model, I can really portray it into consumption based model. So cloud computing is basically a consumption based model. For what you use, you have to pay, right? So that is really cost efficient for such startups who doesn't have a capital expenditure to run up physical data centers in the organization, just like Microsoft or Google or the big blue chip companies like Amazon. They don't need to put a lot of money into physical data centers and going through such services, because you are going to get the replica of those services in the cloud, right? So when you have such a reliability over the cloud services, why you have to go for a physical infrastructure or a physical data center or a physical server? You are getting everything in a digitization, virtualization. You don't need to focus on the servers too, because cloud itself provides you all the resources that you can connect it to your virtual machine by using the operating system OS. And that's it's highly cost efficient for what you are going to use. You will be charged upon the bill payments according to it. Flexibility, you don't need to go for one point of time for a one place. You can really log in, or you can really give an access to another person, to your clients, by wherever you are. You have a high time flexibility, right? You can open up your browser, you can use your cloud services not just in your one browser, but also through your iPad, Mac, or when you have an Android in your hand. Just you can open it up and then check what are the resources and how the team is actually functioning upon the client and server issues that they are encountering. So you have a high time flexibility. You can open up in any device. You can go for the web browser if you would like to. So they provide you with a high time flexibility wherever and whatever you are going to use. Reliability, what do you understand by the word reliability? Reliability is nothing but you're going to give in high levels of uptime. What do you mean by reliability? You can depend upon a resource without having a negotiation in your brain. Okay, that's kind of a reliability. For example, I can depend upon my cab, okay, at the night hour, because I'm reliable, I am dependent on it. The word actually says I am dependent over the resource for a couple of need, and I have trustworthy in ensuring the service. Just like I'm going for my cab at the night time, when I have a fixed hours, or when I have a workaholic time, at that time I'm going to really have a tight schedule, right? So that time I will reliability source is going to be my cab. Similarly, in the cloud computing, reliability is such a time where you have high levels of uptime. I'm going to give you an example about this. One person, Vani, the other person, Rani, actually have a subscription to the Microsoft Azure. I'm taking 99% of that subscription, and Rani is going to take 99.5% subscription of the resources of the cloud services. I am having an uptime. Whenever I have a what do you say, downtime, or when I have a crash in my resources, I have to wait for my resources to run, optimize, and then bring back to operational form. But Rani, when she have 99.95%, she don't, even though if she have a breakage or a technical issue at her resources, still operations will continue at her backend, and also performance is going to be calculated. Operations will be existing, okay, they won't be ruined as 99% of mine, because I have a downtime for my resources. At that time, my resources are not going to operate, my resources are not going to be functional. But 99.95% gives a high levels of uptime, where your downtime levels of IT services or delivery your products to the clients will have a little lesser than mine. So that's the difference between 99% upskill time and 99.5% upskill time. This is all about cloud computing. Just like you're renting a physical space and making use of it and delivering the products for your clients, or IT services you are delivering over the internet, and also paying for what you are going to use. You are only charged for what you are going to use and not for the other things. So this how the computing actually came into existence, and this have a key demand in the IT services. What do you say, in the IT infrastructure development, and we build products over this and resources over this, and we give a lot of. We are going to deal about what are cloud concepts, and what kind of models are there in the cloud. And then I'm going to give you a detailed analysis about cloud computing. And thank you so